Hi, church. Thanks for joining us for our Five for Faith video devotions. I'm going to go ahead and continue with character studies, men and women that we know in the Bible, that we can glean from their stories, the goods, the bads, maybe the uglies of their lives, and make them practical for us today. We're going to look at this guy, James, today. James was the son of Mary and Joseph, the half-brother of Jesus. If Mark 6 is true to the chronology of how it lists the brothers, James would be the second son born to Mary and Joseph. Can you imagine in that household with Jesus as the older brother, constantly being compared to him? And not only that, James, if it's true, is the second born boy. I'm sure there's even more comparison. How come you can't be like Jesus, He's doing the right thing all the time. How annoying it must have been for James. But here, the biggest thing we find out shortly thereafter is James, along with his other brothers, do not believe in Jesus. They're unbelievers. But something changes along the way. We only know a handful of things about James in Scripture, and we know a handful of things according to church history as well. But the thing that radically changes this guy James happens when Jesus rises from the dead. We don't know a lot of what's going on before then. Perhaps he was a believer at some point in there. But certainly we know that James was one of the earliest witnesses of Jesus' resurrection. We find that out in 1 Corinthians 15. Along the way there, he stays in Jerusalem and is part of this new way, this new church that's developing in Jerusalem. He's around during the time of Saul and helps him and Peter along the way as they are forming this new church. He, in fact, is mentioned as the leader of the Jerusalem Council when they meet in the book of Acts. And he's known as an elder and a pillar of the church. Some rise to his leadership. He must have had fantastic leadership qualities that are stated in Scripture and beyond. Church history would note two things about James that are of note. One is that he prayed so much that his knees looked like camel knees, church history would say. And the second thing is that he died along with many other early Christians a martyrdom death. And the interesting thing was it looks as if it was from Jewish leaders that probably he knew a lot of these guys and they stoned him to death. What a man of conviction. From unbelief to a martyrdom death, and did not consider himself even anything but a servant. James identifies himself in his letter as a servant of God and of Jesus Christ. It makes me think, at some point did James use his "I'm Jesus' brother" card anytime? I know I would have. When I got into trouble or something, I said, "Hey, I'm Jesus' brother, back off," But he is described as a servant of God and of Jesus Christ. The best thing that he left us is his letter, the one that has his name on it. It describes Christian ethics more than Christian theology. Man, and we need those Christian ethics, how we live out this Christian life. And James turned from a skeptic to a leader of the church. As a young teen, I needed this letter that James had to make my life practical as a young church kid. And I want to encourage you to read his letter. Living by faith, that your deeds are indeed useless if not accompanied by faith, and faith is useless without accompanied by deeds. What a wonderful letter he gave us. I'm so grateful for his message, and for his example. Thanks for listening, church, and we'll see you next time.